Hey guys, so today I want to introduce our newest foster puppies. As you can tell, they are a little bit sick. They have a little bit of mange. They have some infections. They're a little bit feral. They got a lot of stuff going on. We've had them for I think 4 or 5 full days. They were super sick when we got them, so the only thing that we did was we gave them a bath because they desperately needed it. And we started on their medications. I haven't done any type of training with them. I haven't even been taking them out of their crates. They've been so exhausted. They've been sleeping about 23 plus hours a day. Finally, today we're starting to see a little bit more head picking up. We look over and we see their eyes open a little bit more. They started showing some interest in interacting with their environment. So I can start doing baby steps as far as interactions. They are fairly feral for puppies. They're not really interested in any type of interaction. From what I gathered, they were on the run before they came to us, so they don't naturally tend to enjoy people. But their infections are clearing up, so we're excited about that. Right now, they constantly have access to food. There's no food drive building that we're doing right now. They were quite emaciated, so they constantly have access to wet food, dry food, and water. As they start feeling better, they get a little bit bigger tummies. I can start doing a little bit more like the food comes when I show up, as opposed to constant free access for food. For most dogs, I do the food shows up when I show up, or you eat when I feed you. But with these guys, they're so sick, I'm not going to start them with that. That's just not fair. I did this game once earlier with them, where I started throwing some food around just to show them, like, look, we can do fun things. I'm not making them take the food from my hand. But this little black one even came out while I was in their area, which is nice. I have these pee pads down. This is what I'm doing for them for the bathroom. They are not going outside right now. They have zero interest in moving. I couldn't even get them outside if I wanted to. And that's just way too much social pressure for me to have to put on them. So the act of me carrying them around, trying to catch them outside, having them on leash, trying to make them stay with me on leash, it would be way too stressful for them. It just wouldn't be fair. So instead I'll use the pee pads and I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, but I don't want to push their behaviors further south by trying to insist that they go to the bathroom outside on a leash right now. And they wouldn't come back to me if they were off leash. There's no way. So instead I'm working with what I've got. I'm trying to build up a little bit of interest in people. Earlier I got them to move all around their crate, even come out of the crate a little bit, but I'm not pushing them too far. I'm just trying to say, like, look at this fun little kind of game that we can start to do when I come into the crate with you. There are 2 of them. I'm letting them stay together right now. I'm not making them get apart at all. As they get older and a little bit more comfortable, I will start separating them out. That's normally what I do with siblings when they come to us. I won't have them sleep in the same crate, or I'll let them stay together for the first couple of days and then I want to start separating them. That makes it easier when they get adopted, because more than likely they'll be adopted into a new home and they need to learn how to have some confidence on their own. Right now, that's not fair for them though. So just a little bit of that treat throwing. Again, I'm not standing fully orienting towards them. I'm not talking to them a whole lot. I'm not using my baby voice. I'm going to do this slightly differently than how I did Louise, because they're not super averse to people. Louise was terrified of people when she came to us. They're just not super into people. So they're not running away from me or anything like that. They're not screaming at interactions, but they're not really seeking them out either. So instead, I just want to start building up some good experiences, and what I really need is to get them healthy at first. As they get healthy, I can start having some more different expectations for them, and then we can start working with actually training and integrating them into our group. Right now, they haven't been able to meet any of our other dogs because they're just way too sick. I don't want any of my own crew to get sick, or I would hate for their weakened immune systems to pick something up from anyone else. So that's essentially what we're doing for now. They have constant access to food. We're trying to plump them up a little bit. Now that they're starting to show a little bit more spunk, we're starting to give them a couple of toys so that they can have some fun. They get to stay together. We're going to do a little bit of treat tossing. Ideally, they start wanting to come out and hang out with us pretty soon. I'm hoping in the next couple of days, again, as they're feeling better. They had a cough. They had mange. They had worms. They had eye infections, boogery noses, just the whole 9 yards. So Their cough is starting to clear up a lot. Their eyes are starting to clear up. Their mange has been treated. Their worms have been treated. So they're really starting to feel a little bit better and being able to eat pretty well. The treat tossing, again, I like this because they're also getting used to my movement. Because a lot of dogs are kind of alarmed by sudden movements with people, but instead every time I move my arm, a treat appears next to them. Be careful with dogs who are super nervous and a lot of baby talk. For some dogs, that's very triggering. High-pitched noises can be alarming for certain animals. So instead, if I talk to them, I'll do just my normal tone, or I'll even just use a nice, deep, soothing tone where I go, good, good, very nice. Trying to get them to stay calm and relaxed around me. I don't want them to get amped up, because if they get amped up, they're more likely to be nervous right at this second. So overall, they're doing great. As they start doing other behaviors I like, I can reward them for that. So a little bit of pushing out and sniffing, I can reward that. I don't think she's ready to take food from my hands. I'm not necessarily going to push that. Maybe in the next couple of days she might. But right now I just want to start showing them, like, look, fun things happen when I'm around. That's not the only time that fun things happen for them right now, just because that's what needs to happen. But fun things do happen when I'm around. So pee pads, 100% necessary for them right now, especially if you're working with sick puppies. Constant access to food and water, at least for these guys. Pedialyte's not a bad idea either. Very nutritious foods. And then as they start feeling better, we'll start going on to a more regular schedule with things. But right now, very similar setup to Louise. I do give them a little bit more of an area because they will go to the bathroom in their crate, so I'm trying not to teach them to do that. But they have their crate and they have a little area outside of their crate. They do not get to wander around freely right now, and that makes a huge difference with feral dogs. A lot of times they get a lot of freedom at first, and then they start to wander around. You come into the room, the dog puts themselves away, but they feel like you have done that to them. Your presence has eliminated some of their freedoms. Instead, I want my presence to provide them a little bit more freedom. More fun happens when I am in the room. If you give your dog access to the whole room or the whole floor, and then when you start moving around, they run away, they still have those feelings. It still feels like to them that your presence or your movement took away all of those fun things. Even though maybe having them in the crate feels a little bit less fair, we can change their emotions much quicker and much more dramatically that way, because now it makes sense to the dog. When I come into the room, fun things happen. So I hope that helps. I'm looking forward to showing you guys how these guys progress. And I think there'll be some really nice pups when they keep feeling better. So thank you. Have a great day.